3, 2, 1. Welcome to Press Start, everybody. It's us, the Press Start crew, ready to talk about some Press Start things. How y'all doing today, Luke and Cammy?
Go
I'm
ahead.
good. Yeah, I'm good. Fine.
Okay,
Normal
good.
day. Yeah.
Good.
I am good. I am here with little Locke. He is in the bassinet. You can see the bear on it.
I can see the bear on it.
Very
Yeah.
cute.
So he's got that little bassinet. It's really cool. It's like a little portable thing that he can lay in. Um, I do anticipate some squirminess, potentially some hunger, so I may need to bow out at certain times to take care of him, but I will be here as much as I can.
Well, that's all well and good. But speaking of squirminess, we got some people squirming in their pants because of this new Animal Crossing update.
I mean,
It's a
that
big
works,
one.
right?
It works, doesn't it? People are squirming all over the place. It looks cool from what I've seen. Cammy, why don't you start breaking this bad boy down for us?
I'm so excited. Um, it's the last major update for the game. It's update 2.0. This is like throughout the whole year of Animal Crossing being out, they've released pretty major updates, but this is like the last hurrah. Comes out on November 5th. And oh my god, it includes so much shit. It's like good shit. You're gonna have to bleep all this out. So much good stuff.
The good stuff.
We're
Good
past the
stuff.
1 minute mark. They won't get us for
Oh, we're
nothing.
fine then. Because they advertise it as like, oh, it's Brewster with some extras, and everyone's like, Brewster, yeah, oh God, we've been asking for Brewster for ages, and then they just delivered pretty much everything that everyone's been asking for since the game's been out.
It does
So
look
you,
pretty good. There's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Almost like
yeah.
stuff you should, I don't know, release the game with Nintendo, but that's neither here nor there. There's a bit of each. I'll give them a little bit of a pass
It
because
was surprising that so much stuff was absent at launch. Like, I don't know. Nintendo has this thing where every once in a while they just seem to totally like they hype up a game for years and years and years, work on it for a decade, and then it comes out and it's kind of anemic. And I get it. They probably have pretty small teams working on them in all likelihood. Like, just because Nintendo's a big company doesn't mean that they're putting big teams on these games, but still, I'm just glad that they're getting around to it because I've wanted a reason to go back to Animal Crossing. I just every time I hop in, I'm like, okay, got my fossils. I fished for a few minutes and that's it. Like, the farming is the main thing I'm excited for. That I think is going to take it up a notch. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Cammy, what's some of the stuff they're adding?
So, as they already said, you've got Brewster's Cafe, the Roost. That's coming back. It's going to be in the museum. You can buy your coffee, invite your
good,
friends, coffee.
Good. Cool.
Um, Island residents will come around. Island sort of like special characters like Isabel. They'll come round. You can invite your friends, have coffee. Lovely, exactly what everyone's expected. And like just to clarify, I think that's the point where everyone's like, that's all we kind of thought this update would be, right? It was Brewster and then one, two small things. And it was like the first 30 seconds, if that. Cappin's back. Pause.
yay!
Yay. Clap for Cappin.
Who doesn't like capping?
You
Uh,
love Cappin. Um, towards the mysterious islands. So some islands have new like flowers and stuff and vines and that's very cool. You can also go to islands that have different seasons and different time of day to where your main island is at. So it means like so at the minute for me it's autumn. So I have all the autumn items, collect the acorns, pine cones, all of that. But I could go to a special island and it could be winter and I could collect the snowflakes. So I could then build those winter items. So
which
that's
is a
great.
like workaround because for so long, like back in the day when I was at home, we had a Wii and we played City Folk all the time. And one of the things that my little brother Tim would always do was that he would change the in-game clock to like Christmas and Easter and like all the major holidays. And he would travel there, collect all the expensive items, then reset the Wii clock to the actual day. But he had all those items still, so he would just sell them. And we were like, "How do you have a three-story house already?" And he's like, "Because he was manipulating
Because
time."
he's a
But
dirty
now
cheater. A
he's a
dirty,
dirty
Yeah.
dirty
cheater.
cheater. If you do that in Animal
Yeah.
Crossing, you're a dirty cheater. It's a
Yeah,
game that's supposed to be padded out by the time of our actual lives. You fuck.
yeah. No, it's but this offers a way, I mean not for the holiday items, but it offers a way to get seasonal items not strictly pinned down by the in-game clock, which will be good. I
A
don't
nice
even know
work.
if you can manipulate the Switch's clock
Oh, you
with
can. I've
Animal
done it
Crossing.
before.
Oh, you can.
You can?
Cheater.
Cheater. You
Oh,
sick fuck.
Yes, you
guys, I
cheater.
got you.
They got me. I don't remember even what I did it for. I just I wanted to see if you could do it, and then I got into the game and I was like, oh cool. And
There
my
you.
Switch is still 1 day off. Because I just never switched it back.
How dare you?
I'm gonna get it. Well, I mean, I just remembered it now. I just remembered now that this was something I
Good job.
did. All I really use my Switch for is Mario Kart, Smash Bros, and Breath of the Wild.
I will say, I I have an OLED Switch coming. It was through Walmart, pre-ordered like in July. I know. And it was supposed to be delivered yesterday, except they never delivered it. And now they just say, delayed. We're trying to find out more. Thank you for your patience. Like, what the hell is that? Like, if you order a product and they say, okay, it's coming Friday after months of waiting. I honestly, I don't think, because it doesn't say they ever shipped it too. So I think they sold through all their inventory before they fulfilled the pre-orders, or they oversold pre-orders. And so now I'm just sitting here like a chump.
Great job, Nintendo. That is a classic Nintendo thing to do, though. There's tons of
Is
stories
that
of them
or
doing that.
your mailman might have stolen it?
He may have looked at it and
We
said,
thought
fuck, and then took it.
Locke's social security card was stolen because I have this thing that emails me every time our mail is on the way, and so I can see like what's going to arrive that day. And we saw, okay, social security card's coming today, big deal. So we checked the mail and it wasn't there, and it took another 4 days before it showed up, which is not how that's supposed to work at all. So we were really worried that our mailman was taking things, so we're keeping an eye on him. Anyway, Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, Harv's Island.
Yeah.
You get your gyroids. You get some special shops, which is one thing we were all complaining about because in City Folk you have the town you can go to, which
Yeah.
That
was
was my favorite
nice.
part.
It's the best part. You go to do that. It's like it pads out the whole day you'll be spending in the game. So this seems like, an equal exchange of that in a way. You get a little bit of the town experience.
Tortimer's back, Katrina's back, Reese and Cyrus are back. Leaf and Red will have a permanent place. Is a very good idea.
I'm pumped.
I don't know what ordinances are, but it says ordinances returns.
Yeah, the ordinances are you can go to Isabel, and I think you pay a certain amount, and you have like early bird, night owl, beautiful island, and I think one other, and it's just a thing you can put over your island, so it can all the villagers might. Sorry, my voice is going. Oh my god, going through puberty finally.
Hey, me too.
Yeah. Hey. You so like your islanders might get up an hour earlier, and the shop will open an hour earlier if your schedule is off, or an hour later. So say you work in the day, you only get to pick up your Switch at like 10. Well, the shops are shut, a lot of your islanders will go to bed. You can get the night owl ordinance, and the characters' daily cycles will shift till later, so you can get more out of the game that way. It's a very good idea. People have
That
been
is
asking
fun.
about it, and it's back.
How that took so long to do, I don't know. Because I mean, it's always been the frustrating thing with Animal Crossing that somebody, like, if your schedule just doesn't align, if you work all day, leave before the sun rises for work, get home a little bit later at night, like, you will never get to play in the daytime unless you start altering the time of your Switch, and that throws everything else off. And so it was just stupid. It was just a stupid way of doing things. And so I'm thrilled to see that they're taking, like Jacob said, steps that probably should have been taken at the beginning.
Probably already. But hey,
Prob-
for something added on top, some new house styles are coming to the game. And you get an expanded storage, which that's neat. New Nook Miles stuff. I love the Nook Miles system. It's great fun. It encourages you to play the game. I give Animal Crossing a 5 out of 5. I read that somewhere. I didn't come up with that, but someone said that it's a system in the game that makes you want to play the game. And I thought that was the
Crazy.
dumbest thing I had ever heard in my whole life, because of course it fucking
Yes.
is.
Yes, quite brilliant.
But then there's cooking. What? We get crafting and now we get cooking? Are you out of your gourd? What's wrong with you? And there's new ingredients to grow. I don't know much about the cooking system. Is it like pretty robust or?
I don't know how robust it is. I think they've got wheat, carrots, sugarcane.
That's all I need for a cake, so.
Yeah, a little bit more that I can't remember. You can grow them. You take them to not the crafting bench, but like a. Oh, what happened?
That's just a horribly stupid joke I made.
That's all the stuff I need for a cake.
It's
and
just
definitely not.
it's not the stuff
Flour
you
and
need
some
for a
sugar.
cake. And I just said it
I'm in my
very
own little world,
confidently.
okay.
And Luke just started cracking up. Because he knows what it takes to make a cake, but he won't tell us. So I'm always guessing. I never know.
And the secret.
You have to have a wife, a kitchen.
A
think he's
loud,
very good.
booming voice.
Wow!
She made a lovely banana bread. I love banana bread. It was so good. We had it for breakfast. Even the cats tried to take some. It was wonderful. Anyway,
That story you just told sounds like something from Little House on the Prairie. It's like, yep, wife cooked me a loaf of bread, ate it to this morning with the child there. Cats tried to take it off the table. It was so damn good, that bread. And then we went about our day from there.
then I had to go and shoot the dog.
Then I had to
Dog was
shoot the
acting-
dog, my cousin, and two of my neighbors because, by God, we were born into a nightmare world. If God were real, I'm sure that he'd be cackling and laughing up above. Just like how we're all laughing at this new pro decorating license in Animal Crossing because, ha ha ha, it seems like great fun. Lighting and ceiling decor and accent on the walls. Just more customization across the board, which is great for
Yeah.
Animal Crossing. It's like The Sims, but it doesn't try to steal money from you all the time. But we'll get to that because Nintendo might be trying to do that. See, now I'm plugging things in the future.
It's a giant web. It's all tying together.
It's a web of my great creation. They'll all see soon. But there's the Pro Construction license. Same shit. I wish they would increase the amount of inclines and bridges you could have to infinity. Because how fucking stupid is it that you can cap the number of bridges? What's going to happen? Oh no, too many bridges. It's too convenient. Why? Maybe it'll ruin lake fishing or something if you really wanted to. I don't know. 10 sounds like plenty. 10 sounds like, wait, I'll make do. I'll make do with my 10 bridges. New fence types, customizable fences. I never use the fences. So I'm going to go ahead and say that one's stupid. Better
Use all
camera
the
mode,
fences.
though. Don't forget about that better camera mode. Is it better?
Yeah.
You can do first
POV.
person, which seems
Yeah.
kind of neat.
New reactions.
This is one that's super cool. Someone else say this one because I just took a couple of them. I really like this next one.
Luke, take this one.
Sorry, I was pacifying my child.
Ew.
All
All right.
Ew.
That sounds disgusting.
So they've added storage sheds as well, which actually I'm surprised it's taken this long. Like this is one of those things, one of the additions where you're like, oh, that could actually be really useful. Because one of the things I can't stand is the extremely limited inventory in most games. Like I'm replaying Fallout 4 and limited inventory is just so tedious because you go out, you loot some stuff, and you have to stop having fun to go back and dump it all back at your base or do this.
But then
or
you gotta
that.
build up your base. You're playing Fallout 4 wrong. That's the problem. You have to put it in your drawers, and then you make it all organized. It's like Animal Crossing. Fallout 4 is basically Animal Crossing with guns. You build your little house. You put your guns in the drawer.
Speaking of, they added guns.
They
to
added
Animal
guns, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. That would actually be kind of amazing.
I'd be if
There's
they
a
added like
butcher you really
horrifyingly
don't
realistic
like.
gore too, like Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, that
heads
could work.
exploding, Tom Nook cradling his child.
It's probably good that they don't let us direct the game, isn't it? Anyway, it links to your home storage, so you don't have to shuffle between sheds, which is nice. Because it would be one thing like if you stash, like on my island, there's kind of a forest area, and then all my stuff is down in the bottom left corner of the island, while the forest is in the top right. So whenever I go out there for resources or out to my orchard, I have all set up. It's kind of a trek to get back. So now you could just have a shed, deposit everything there, and then all of those materials will loop back to your home storage as well, which is sick. I mean, there's no reason that this couldn't have been a feature to begin with. So it's these little quality of life that remove the grind that just make the game better. It just makes it better. Like,
move over The Witcher 3. We've got your box system now too, you bunch of frauds. Yeah, they can be placed outside.
Take this one.
New songs
Yeah.
from the KK slide. I almost said an extra K. From KK Slider. Dangerous name, that one. You get some gyroids, new Nooks Cranny stuff. Don't forget about permanent ladders. I don't actually know
You're
what that.
gushing over the gyroids so much.
Well,
People have been asking for gyroids for ages.
Yeah, but of course they were going to add gyroids. They were just going to say "fuck you" to gyroids.
okay, explain to the audience why gyroids are so great.
Yeah, sell it to me. Sell me on gyroids.
I mean, they've been in the franchise from the beginning, so they're like iconic. You dig them up, so you're not digging up a fossil every flipping time, because that's irritating as hell.
Or random crap that your wife buried because she didn't want to carry it around with her.
Oh God, she's one of those players.
That's horrifying.
That's the worst kind of player.
Basically
Leave
domestic
her.
terrorism, right?
How dare
That is,
she?
yeah. I would call PETA. What's the one that stops terrorists?
Yeah, PETA.
PETA.
Yeah.
Now they are terrorists.
Oh, touchy subject. Anyway, they dance to music and they do that. And
Yeah,
cool
they are
and cute and they're great. And they're finally back.
That's
So
another
happy
thing
about it.
that wasn't in the base game.
Yeah.
That's such a stupid oversight. Like, I can't even.
The froggy chair? I was in the same boat. I had so
Froggy.
many of those in City Folk, or
It's
whichever game had it. It was like the most common item, and they were like, people probably don't like it. But no, people like it, Nintendo. Nintendo
Yeah.
sometimes hates fun, which is
Yeah.
odd, because you'd think that'd be the only thing they'd be going for, would be fun. Especially with the release of Metroid Dread, a fun game.
Have you been playing that?
No. Not yet. I have to
I
get through
have.
Deathloop first. I'm trying to
Oh, yeah,
pace
we got-
myself. I'm doing
we'll finish
Deathloop
this.
and
Talk about all
Metroid
the-
Dread. But don't forget, on top of this update, there's some paid DLC. And boy oh boy, is this DLC something else. It's The Sims. They add The Sims plus some other stuff, but mostly it's just The Sims. How is it The Sims? Well, for one thing, it costs $25 for some reason. That's something The Sims would definitely do. But also, don't forget to design Islanders' holiday homes for them, which is pretty neat. I can put up some lights, maybe a little reindeer. Don't forget about them snowmen. You know how we are with snowmen. If there's one thing that Press Start likes here, it's snowmen. Tim
Love
Allen
them.
also is there. Don't forget about Tim Allen.
Yep.
Christmas, Santa Claus. You can remodel stuff.
Halloween time.
Halloween stuff too. You could, but Christmas is all that's on my mind. You think of decorating a house like big time, you think Christmas. At least I do. I
Yeah.
don't decorate my house for Halloween. That's all I'm saying. I go out into
You
the world to experience the true horror by eating at Denny's.
You just, I can picture you just walking in. You sit down. Just freaking out.
Yeah, I've done that before with you though, where someone does something mundane and I just scream in public.
Jacob, I forget where we were, but he's just like walking around. He's like, "Oh my god, is that a spy?"
Yeah. I like I see a spider or I fucking like a demon or a ghost. It's really fun to go into like fast food places and be like, "Have you had a ghost hunting team come in here? Because I'm detecting a presence." If you do that to someone or you say that really loud,
I'm detecting the presence.
because it's just this, they're just like, man, I don't want to have to deal with this because they think you're fucking insane. Oh man. I love acting like I'm an insane person. But hey, speaking of insane, you can unlock some crazy techniques. Why don't you tell us about those, Cammy?
You can. So when you, how do I follow that? When you decorate someone's like resort house, and it starts off very basic. You suggest the house, you design it to a brief, and then as you design more houses, you unlock techniques that you can adjust the size of the interior. You can get partition walls now,
Hey.
counters, pillars. You can do lighting, and it's not just like the ceiling lighting. It's like adjusting, yellow light, white light, how bright it is, all that sort of thing. Soundscapes, you can add them now. You can also polish furniture, and it'll have like a little animated effect on it. I don't know. And then when you learn these techniques, they're not just locked to like the DLC area. You can go back to your own island. You can do it in your house and everything.
Yay!
Woo! Pretty cool.
More
Pretty cool
shit
stuff.
to do. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Luke looks concerned. Luke, I'm guessing, read the next one down. It's something he hates. They're letting you design other buildings on the island, and there's 3 things Luke hates in life. And if you've been watching the channel, you know. It's education, feeding the hungry, and helping sick people. Schools, restaurants, and hospitals. Luke despises them. He wishes you could take him out of every video game. What do you have to say for yourself, Luke? What do you have to say?
Yeah, it's the only reason I bashed Vampire was because it's set mostly in a hospital.
That's
and
true.
I couldn't know that. So,
Outlast 2? Wait, no, that's not a hospital. Outlast 1?
the original Outlast, it's like a psychiatric hospital. Are you pooping again?
No. Oh, the baby.
Babe?
Now I had a slide whistle sound with the womp womp because that's the greatest joke of all time I just told.
Oh god.
Yeah, no, they are allowing you to design the school or a school, a
Like
little
little
hospital.
community lots.
And like this is the thing that I loved about City Folk was that it actually like going to the city, it felt like there was a little bit of civilization, which was nice. It shook it up a bit. And that was just totally lost. Like I get it. You can go to other people's islands, and like I would visit some friends' islands, and it was like cool, but it didn't feel like the little island you were on was an actual living, breathing island or like a little world to itself. It always just felt like a very shallow thing for you to play in and then easy to get bored in. Whereas City Folk, you were actually like weirdly able to get sort of immersed with it. You were able to put yourself in this position where you're like, okay, I am I am going through this. I am living in this world, and these little characters live here too. And I'm going to go into the city today and flex my wealth because I sold all the fossils before my siblings could dig them up and donate them. Like, that's what was so much fun. So I'm glad that they're adding all this stuff. Hopefully, it's enough to, I guess, reinvigorate players to the experience because I'd like a reason to keep playing it. But I don't know, after like 20, 25 hours, it just got boring for me.
I'm definitely into the changes. I'm gonna give it another try for sure. Try to
I've
get
been
me back into it.
playing it again recently, like in preparation for it, and I'm very excited.
Well, there
The
you go.
important question is who has the best island?
Probably
No,
me. I took a bunch of trees and I planted them and I cut them in like the shape of a penis the best I could. So that's a feature on my island. I also have palm trees. Do you have palm? I've got like way too many palm trees. It's
Oh,
actually an
are the
epidemic.
palm trees right next to the penis?
No, I wish. The penis is
Palm
like off to the side because
penis?
I had to plant a lot of trees. Oh, I get it. Because of
Yeah.
that's a joke.
masturbating.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of
Yeah.
masturbating, I'm about to come with this new Nintendo Online expansion pack.
Jesus
About to
Christ.
spray my excitement for Nintendo all over the floor and walls.
What is wrong with you today?
It was on topic. Also, I'm a little sick, so I'm allowed to. I have
On
Hey,
topic.
my voice is like a little bit raspy, so I feel like I can get away with. They're like, it's the way is it? It's like, oh, maybe he's on cough medicine. When in reality, this is just who I am as a person. But they don't need to know that part. What they do need to know is that the N64 games, the Genesis games, Animal Crossing game DLC, it can all be yours for the low, low price of $50 a year. But remember, it gets adjusted also if you have some time left on your Nintendo Online subscription. So you could be paying upwards of $46 or $44 per year. I like
Yeah.
it. I like the price point of it because I'm only going to pay it once a year and they're going to keep adding shit to it.
I mean, I will
A
say people were comparing this to uh Fallout First, the thing where it's for Fallout 76 and it's $100 a year. And universally people are like, that's a terrible value. But I don't actually think that comparison is fair because Fallout First was for a broken, crappy game.
for one singular broken crappy game. This is for an entire
Yeah.
console.
Yeah. And like even for a good game, that's steep. But this is an online service. This includes stuff, a lot of content. And I mean, at the end of the day, nobody's making you pay it. One of the reasons Fallout First was such an issue was because they were actively removing things from the game, trying to push you into Fallout First and the exclusive stuff you got for that. Like I think it was something stupid like refrigerators for keeping food so it wouldn't spoil. That you was only available through Fallout First, but it initially was available for everybody, but they removed it so that you had to pay for that feature. Little things like that. And Bethesda's done that a lot. Like they did it with in Fallout 4, there was a mod for crafting ammunition. They removed that mod and added it to a $2 paid DLC. Like they've done it a lot. But for this, if you see the value in it, $50 a year, yeah, it's a good amount. But if you're gonna get the value out of it, which is what you have to evaluate yourself, like all those N64 and Genesis games, like right up Jacob's alley, this makes sense. Whereas for me, I don't think it makes sense for me personally. But that's why you have the option. Are you doing it, Cammy?
Oh, absolutely not. I don't have friends. I play on my own. So
That's
what's the
one thing
point?
I've heard a lot. People being like, there's not enough online stuff. It's like, you're not paying for that online service. You're paying for those games that, one, you'll get to play on like a handheld console, being able to kick back and play Super Metroid like in bed on my back while I get horrible bed sores because I don't like moving. Like that's a dream come true. Or like playing fucking Mario 64, like a good port of Mario 64 instead of that garbage they gave us for 3D All Stars. Like
Yeah, that was bad.
it's so fitting. It'll be so nice. It'll introduce a bunch of people to these games too, because I had never played Super Metroid before this online service, and now that's one of my favorite games of all time. It's so much fucking fun. I love it. So I'm down for this 100%. Hopefully, I'm sure in a year's time, in 2 years' time, they will add GameCube games and some Wii games. And when that happens, they'll probably jump up the price to 60 or 70. And I'm still gonna say it's worth it because not a lot of people are lucky like me, where they can have all the
Yeah, I
consoles.
will say if they then added like some DS games and Wii games like from my childhood, then I'm more likely to do it.
DS games would be an interesting one. I wouldn't mind them. They could
Yeah.
dump that whole library on probably with some weird
Then
dual screen ports.
yeah,
But like, how does that? Do you put the screens side by side?
Oh,
I
so
don't
many
know,
of the
and I
games are
don't
like Mario Kart DS just had a map on the bottom. Like some of them, it doesn't even matter. So
So
we'll
you're
see.
saying just get rid of the second screen?
You either get rid of the second screen or you can do like when you play it on emulator. Not that I've ever done this. Not that I've ever used an emulator to play a DS game. It just brings up both
Any games.
screens. And yeah, like you can use your mouse cursor or whatever. Or you could use your finger if it's a touch screen. It's not terrible. It's not the best way to play those games. And I'm sure they're trying to figure it out. But I'd like there's some Zelda games on DS that I think people would like to play on a better console on a bigger screen. So that would be cool. Who knows? The future is wide open for this. I don't know. I'm jumping on it. I'm paying the 50 bones. Luke, are you paying the 50 bones?
No.
Cam, are you paying the 50 bones? Yeah, that's $50 to Nintendo, $100 to press start. Like and subscribe to make sure that amount of
paying for
money
the
keeps
DLC.
on going up.
I am paying for the DLC, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, and Luke's probably paying for the DLC. So in retrospect, I'm saving money. Because I'm technically only paying, like, for the online service itself, I'm technically only paying $25. So.
I mean, you can justify a lot of things that way.
Yeah.
So, 50 bones ain't too bad. I don't know. N64 games, Genesis games, online, and the Animal Crossing DLC for $50. It's basically $25 for the N64 and Genesis games. Might as well, is all I'm saying, America and also Britain. But we'll move on from Nintendo. We'll move on from Nintendo and talk about the Knight. The man behind the mask. His villain is the Green Goblin, and he fights in Metropolis. His name is Batman. And he's coming to save us.
Ooh, he's coming to save us.
Ooh, he's coming to save us. I can't wait for Batman.
Ooh. Yes.
Oh, I just clicked on the DC fandom because it's going on now as we're filming.
Yeah.
And the chat is going incredibly quickly, so I don't know what they're discussing right now.
There's a story trailer out for right now for the new Justice League game. Or Suicide Squad game. Fuck me, God.
Is it out?
It's out. Let's all watch it real quick
yeah.
and come back. Wow, we all just watched it. That's crazy. It came back.
Wow, we time traveled.
I like it.
Weird.
Yeah, I know. And I like how it felt weird. But I also liked the trailer we saw for Rocksteady's new game. It looks I was taken aback when they said it would be set in the Arkham universe. But it looks like it's gonna be just fine. It's just going to be presented differently. It's going to be probably over a couple of days instead of one night. It's got a fun, goofy story. Suicide Squad, saving the world, all that stuff. Should be good. What'd you guys think? First impressions on the trailer.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm excited because it's Rocksteady, but I thought the trailer itself was just okay.
I agree. I
That's
think
me then.
I think graphically it's not where I was hoping it would be. Especially after the stuff we've seen with Huey 5. I was hoping that this would like totally blow me away, but it looks good. Like it looks good. I think it's fine. Like it's a game that was definitely developed primarily during last gen. I think it's technically an Unreal Engine 4 game. Um,
Probably, yeah.
I don't think they will get Unreal Engine 5 access because it's still in beta. So even if they did, I don't think it would run very well. So I think it looks good. I agree with Cammy. Like the trailer, like we all love the Suicide Squad. We all love the characters. We find them funny. They work well together. It's written well. It looks like. Um, I'm bummed we didn't see any stuff about gameplay, especially because there's been rumors going around that this is like an always online co-op game. Like it's basically Marvel's Avengers, but Rocksteady. And we don't know if that's true. I don't know if they announced that or discussed it while this thing is going on, and while we're recording this, but this doesn't answer any of that stuff, and I was hoping that there would be some sort of resolution in always online like multiplayer co-op game. I'd rather Rocksteady do the narrative straightforward game, but I mean they kind of set it up with four characters. It would make sense if you were doing missions co-op. It's kind of set up that way. So I don't know. It doesn't make me any more excited for it, I think is how I would put it. It's like I'm still as excited as I was. It still looks good.
It's another
Um
Rocksteady game. I'll always be the same amount of excited for a Rocksteady game. Just, yeah. Yeah. I
let's
love Rocksteady.
go.
Knocking it out
Yeah.
of the park, Rocksteady. Well, yeah, we'll see. I'm honestly expecting it to be pretty much fully single player. Maybe some online stuff, but Rocksteady, when it's tried online in the past, has been a little bit iffy. So it'll most likely. I think they're just gonna flesh out that combat system that we saw in Arkham Knight with like the multiple people around, where you can kind of switch around with things. Maybe make a main within the group, or it'll split you up from mission to mission, playing as different characters. But that's definitely what I'm most curious about. I want to see how that gameplay is, and we'll see
Well,
if
that's
it is. If it is in that same vein as the Marvel Avengers, we also have Guardians of the Galaxy coming out, which looks like a weird, bizarro version of Guardians of the Galaxy, but it could still be fun. It still looks like it might be an interesting game, at
well,
the very
Guardians
least.
reminds me a lot more of um yeah, of Avengers, which is not good.
No, it's
But
not.
like Gotham Knights, this is what I'm interested in. Like Gotham Knights seems to be the online multiplayer co-op game. So my presumption would be that the alternative to that would be, or like the pairing with that would be a single player narrative game that Rocksteady does that is also like four characters, but it's all narrative single player. So they have their online game and then they have their single player game. I just don't know if that's the case. And I'm looking around to try and see if there's any confirmation on the type of game it is, because so far it's been very tight lipped. But I did see a couple of interviews from some of the developers that were concerning, where they were saying like they wanted the game to be living and breathing, which sounds to me like live service. And I just don't know. I don't
Hey
know.
man, you described City Folk earlier in this video as living and breathing, and that was not an online service game. I honestly think that they're not going to go that direction. Maybe they'll incorporate a little bit more online stuff, but as we saw also in that trailer, not coming to PS4 or Xbox One. It's all next gen.
Thank God.
So it's
Yeah.
it's everything about it's lining up, and it's Rocksteady. So of course I'm gonna give them a fair shake, but we all know how this goes. We gave a fair shake to Bethesda with Fallout 76. That was shitty. We gave a fair shake to CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk. That was one of the worst things I think I've ever touched. I never want to play it again. Like it infuriates me. And now hopefully Rocksteady won't follow suit. But this does seem like if you look at their games and kind of how they've gone along, it kind of makes sense that they would expand into having more characters, but still a single player story, because that's what they did in Arkham Knight. They added more characters, more of these. You have that whole mission with Robin,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where it's like dual
But even going
takedowns,
back
switching
to
between.
City, they had all the Catwoman stuff. But like the thing I always tried to like, we have to be very grounded in what we're talking about and realistic with it. It's like when Cyberpunk was on its way, like we were all excited, but when I saw the game at E3, I thought it was pretty underwhelming. Like it looked like Deus Ex mixed with a really generic shooter. It looked okay, but it didn't look very good. Um and like the video where I said that, like 25% downvotes, because how dare you speak against the established, you know, I guess agreed upon consensus opinion, you know. But in this case, Rocksteady is part of Warner Brothers, or they're working with Warner Brothers technically, I think. I'm not sure how the delineation works, but they are notoriously predatory when it comes to monetization. Famously, Arkham City, to bring that up again, people forget, but Catwoman was initially locked behind a paywall. So either you bought the game at GameStop and then you would get the code for that for free, or you had to pay, I think it was $5 to get the
Yeah, it's
Catwoman
$5.
storyline, which was like probably like an hour plus of content, like her own little series of missions that tied into the main story because she
She
was
gets her own
going and
stuff at the
dealing
end
with
of the
characters.
game. It's probably I'd say 5 or 6 hours total.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was a lot. It was a lot, and they cut that out entirely. And granted, that was back like 2010, I think.
Yeah.
2011. But then Arkham Knight, they cut corners for the PC port, and that's pretty much why that game wasn't considered for Game of the Year.
Which is a shame, because that game
It's so
now is
Yeah.
one of the best fucking games you can play, and it's free in a
Yeah.
bunch of places.
The tank sections, rough, I grant you, but you can play that for free on Game Pass. So what
It's
are you doing?
fucking stupid that you can play that for free on Game Pass. It's the prettiest
Okay.
game of like the last 5 years. And it's been out for
Yep.
6 years. Like it's
That's the thing, like,
above and beyond.
Look, maybe it was just this trailer. I watched it on at 4K 60 frames, which YouTube's bit rates are limited, granted, but even with that, I don't think it looks hugely better than Arkham Knight.
If
So,
it looks at least on par with Arkham Knight, I will be a happy boy. Because
yeah, to be clear, like that's still very good. But Arkham Knight was like 2-3 years ahead of its time in 2015, which is weird to think about. That game is 6 years old. But it's like I don't know. I don't want to be just a negative Nancy. I just want to see more. I hope to see gameplay soon. I'm gonna remain kind of reserved, not overtly skeptical, but I just don't want to get, like Jacob was saying, crazy hyped for something and then it comes out and it's like, no, it's an always online co-op game with like tons of missions locked behind paywalls. And because Warner Brothers is talking about selling their games division, which is why I brought it up. And so there's questions all over the place. Like that was one of the big things people were wondering if they were going to make an Injustice 3. And there were rumors going around that they weren't, and they were going to jump straight onto the next Mortal Kombat because the like whole division of Warner Brothers Gaming is up in the air because they were going to try and sell it to somebody. So who knows? Who knows? I think there's risk
Hey man,
involved,
if
but it looks
Microsoft gets
okay.
that, if Sony gets that, holy
If
fuck.
Microsoft gets it, I'm down. If Sony gets it, I'm down. I would be worried that somebody like Ubisoft swoops in and
Oh
picks
God,
it up.
no. Oh my God, no. Ubisoft. Oh my God. We love you,
Ubisoft or
Ubisoft.
EA or Activision. I mean, they're looking for new franchises. I don't think Ubisoft has the capital. The only way that they could acquire it is if they offered stock in exchange, and easily that's probably $1 billion deal. And you would have to sign it with contingencies for rights to the IP, because like Rocksteady makes superhero games. So what are you gonna do? Like, not get the rights to make Batman games or DC games? Like that
And then,
doesn't
oh
work.
God, I no ill will towards the human beings at Ubisoft, but I haven't liked a Ubisoft game in a long ass time. Like I was really into Immortals Phoenix Rising, and then as I got more into it, I was just like, damn it, they fucked it up. They fucked it up. They fucked up a Breath of the Wild ripoff.
I mean, I'll say I've had my frustrations with Ubisoft. I absolutely loathe Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I think it's an insult to the franchise. Um, I enjoyed Far Cry 6. I thought that was actually, it's probably, I do think it's the best Far Cry in the franchise. It doesn't fix the age-old issues with Far Cry as a series. It's still Far Cry, but it's the best executed I think it's ever been. Um, but even so, do I think Ubisoft is the correct home for a studio like Rocksteady? I just don't think so. I think
It's a
the
good
corporate
home.
structure
It's a
limit it.
it's a great home. I'll say, not even a good home. It's the perfect home for Family Feud for the Nintendo Switch. It's the perfect house. It's so good because you can release
No
Family
place better.
Feud and it can suck balls and no one will care because a family of four is playing it or someone's playing it while they're drunk and they're never going to notice the glaring issues with Family Feud. So we'll give you a pass on that one, Ubisoft. Please don't buy it, Ubisoft. Let
Yeah,
Microsoft get it. Let Sony get it. Sony was flexing their capital earlier today. The report came out
flexing
saying
it.
they had like 14 to 18 billion left for acquisitions.
Yeah,
So who knows? Maybe they're like trying
which we'll
to
see. But
force.
even that, like, people, like, I have a degree in corporate finance, so like I studied to become the guy that goes and buys those companies on behalf of Sony and Microsoft. So we did all sorts of things where like you evaluate a company's worth based on weighted average costs of capital, based on debt ratios, based on how leveraged different assets are at different times, what the debt schedule's like, all of this stuff. And for Sony to be like, we have 14 to 18 billion dollars to acquire stuff, like that's not 99% of the time, that's not cash. They don't have cash, like $14 billion in a checking account so they can go out and buy stuff. Usually, what they're going to try to do is they're going to offer stock. So, like George Lucas, when he sold Star Wars and the rights to all of that stuff, he didn't get cash. He got a crap ton of Disney stock, which Disney happily threw out to him. It barely cost them anything. But to George Lucas, all of a sudden, he has a $7 billion net worth just like that because the stock is worth a set amount. So for Ubisoft, I think that's the only way they could acquire somebody is if they went and offered stock options and, or not stock options, but actual stock and paired it with some cash and things. And I just don't think Warner Brothers would want a noticeable stake in Ubisoft. And also, Ubisoft has actively avoided allowing large portions of itself to get sold to other corporations. Like Vivendi was going to try and buy them out, and they were freaking out, buying up all the stock they possibly could
Oh, I
so that
remember
they could
that.
avoid that. Yeah.
That was a hoot because I was like, please, not that I'm rooting against Ubisoft or anything. We love you, Ubisoft, but I was like, please, someone do something,
I
please.
mean, people were saying, like, oh, Microsoft is going to buy Ubisoft and that's going to be their next big acquisition. It's not that easy. Like, they're not a company. Like, the thing that made ZeniMax so, and why I predicted that they were going to sell, and Microsoft was going to pick them up, was because Like it was doable. They were a privately held company. So like as big as they were, it was owned by like 10 people. And one of those was actually Donald Trump's brother, ironically enough. Um, and so there's just all of this stuff that ties into it. I don't think Ubisoft would be able to buy them. I do think EA or Activision would try to pick them up because they know how lucrative they can be. And that just, you're out of the frying pan into the fryer. And that would be my concern, that they escape Warner Brothers and their predatory monetization stuff, and then they go to EA. It's like, oh, well, that didn't really
let's
fix the
all
problem.
say a quick prayer to the gaming gods. Lord Jesus of gaming, if you have any heart, don't let anyone but Sony or Microsoft. Hell, actually, you know what? I'll let Tencent. Let Tencent buy them. Or Sony or Microsoft. If you let EA buy them, I will find you and kill you. Amen.
In the name of the Lord,
Todd Howard.
Father, Son, and Holy Ghost.
Todd
God
Howard, I'm
Howard.
gonna hunt down and kill you if you can't talk what Phil Spencer into buying Warner Brothers game division. Unless he doesn't want that, would Todd Howard be the kind of guy that's like, we're actually the big kid on campus, go fuck yourselves, and then like pushes him off to Sony? We're making our own
Like, we're not
superhero
touching
game.
that crap. Yeah.
I can't picture him talking
I don't
like
know.
that. I can't imagine him being that big of an asshole. He like releases a press statement. I don't like you. You guys suck. This is my
Don't
company.
like you.
Oh my god. Well, that's the Suicide Squad. We've said our piece on it. There's also some news. We'll wrap up with this on the Court of Owls teased from Warner Brothers. Fantastic
Yeah.
storyline. I adore
And they
it.
should have one eye on the like live stream and like, please show Gotham Knights now. And they're currently talking about making hats. I, uh,
That's DC fandom for you. I mean, I DC fandom in person would probably be a lot of fun, right, Lachlan? See, Lachlan's in the mood for it.
oh, it's a tiny baby.
It'd be a lot of fun to go see DC fandom in person, but online it is like shooting yourself in the foot over and over again.
It is. Well, and like when there's a schedule at E3, like there's 99 panels. All of them suck except for one or two. And those are always sold out like way in advance. Like they had at E3 2019 when we went, they had the Elon Musk and Todd Howard panel. Like, yeah, let's go to that. That's weird and crazy. I don't know why that's happening or why that's a thing, but let's go. And it was crazy packed. We were very lucky to get in. I mean, we got there 2 hours early, so that was most of it. But we got there early and had to sit around and wait. A lot of people got turned away. Like thousands of people got turned away. But then there were like right next door was a lecture on something insane. It was like colonialization and video game narratives or something that like who's going to E3 and they're like, oh, I can't wait for the colonialization panel.
Someone got an
I'm
idea.
so
Someone
excited.
at Ubisoft was like, I have an idea for a panel. Put me right next to Elon Musk and Todd Howard because all those guys are going to get right put into my panel and they're going to learn a thing or two about colonization.
No,
More like
it's probably smart.
colonization. Because of, asshole. It's a stinky idea.
I was like, what's this going to transition to? I don't know.
There's no transition.
Nothing.
It's just
Nothing.
I'm a child.
I'm a baby man.
I'm a big man.
Tammy
baby.
looks very confused at what they're doing.
John, DC fandom, please.
DC fandom. Let's take a peek
It's
at
like
it.
a fever dream. Oh, you might have just
Oh
missed
my
it.
god.
It's Super Pets, and there was
Oh my
Kevin Hart and
God.
Dwayne Johnson with Keanu Reeves. And I have no idea.
That actually is sickening to me. That animation style is so fucking gross. Was that Illumination?
I don't even know.
If that's Illumination, that fucking that looked like Illumination fucking vomit on the screen.
It did.
I like how I'm like listening to you guys and then have one eye on this, and it just
Yeah. Oh, cats. I have it pulled up. This is just the thing that these companies do. Like the Take Two
Oh yeah.
E3 thing, you remember that? Where
Yeah.
like everybody came out because like maybe Take Two, maybe they're faking us out and they'll announce Grand Theft Auto 6 or something. And
Mhm.
then it was just a panel about what was it even about? Diversity?
Yeah.
And the
It
chat
was
was,
like Zoom meeting.
I think the chat was locked to emoji only or something because they knew they're like, yeah, the gamers aren't going to respond well to this. It's going to end well. Uh,
They're
but
showing fan art more than once, and that's not a good sign.
It's
like,
just it's
why is
bad.
your event 3 hours long if you don't have enough
4 hours.
to 4 hours long?
4 hours. Oh, don't get it twisted. It's 4 hours, and it's not like there's an hour of main stuff and then afterwards is all the chatting and stuff. It's like no, this is 4 hours. I
Oh,
know the
crap.
yeah, I know the Batman
Hey, they're talking
film
about
trailer
Static
is last.
Shock.
Yeah, I don't know. This is why, like, we were talking about this before we started recording, everybody out there in press start land. We were like, should we live stream DC fandom? And I was like, well, for one, the baby, I don't know if he'll go for that. Two, it's like 4 hours long, it will never end. And three, they're showing a lot of clips from movies, TV shows, stuff like that, that's super copyrighted, and DC doesn't screw around. So I don't think
I
it'll work
mean,
out well.
that's what you think. So far, I ain't seen a single clip of film or TV or anything interesting. It's just people standing in front of a green screen, like,
Knowing them
Oh,
though, they
my
probably
live
will
stream.
copyright
Never
all this.
mind. I was like, this is a really cool section. What are you guys talking about? It was the founders of some subdivision of comic books, the guys that made Static Shock, which is an awesome
Oh.
character. Or I think he's just called Static Shock, whatever the fuck. I remember Static Shock, awesome character. And then I fast forward and I saw what you guys were talking about, and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
Oh, weird.
great.
Yeah, all told, um, well, I mean, we'll see how this develops. I'm sure by the time you guys are watching this, you'll be like, "Oh, wow, they announced Splatoon 7 and Despacito 2, and it's really cool." And we'll be like, "Oh yeah, I wish we had covered that." But as of right now, it's just kind of
It's
yeah.
shit. It's garbage. It's terrible. Thanks for watching, everybody. Fuck you. It's
Oh, wait,
DC
wait.
fandom. Did we get a new one?
Luckily, we have headphones on. Bye. Say bye, Locke.
Say bye.
Bye.
bye, bye.
Oh god, he
Bye.
looks
Ooh, playing thing
terrified that he
just
has to
shit
wait.
right now.
Start crying, Lachlan, for the funny. For funny. Do it. Do it.
Do something funny.
If he pooped himself right now, it would
It'll
be
be
so funny.
please,
Did you just
Lachlan.
wink at me? You did. That's so cute.
Oh,
Oh
Oh,
no.
I whacked my head on the beam.
he's a
Okay,
Marvel.
you guys are wonderful.
Woo.
We'll see you in the next video.
Press
Bye.
start. Get it? Bye.
Click.